What's up, Charger fans? Welcome back to another video. The NFL draft has just wrapped up and the Chargers got themselves a bag of players. I want to go through each one, give them a grade, and let's see what you guys think. So if that sounds nice to you, let's go. At pick 22, the Chargers select Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. Considering the way that the board fell in the first round, the Chargers selected a premier back, and this is a great decision. Omarion Hampton stands at 6 feet tall, he weighs over 220 pounds, and he recorded a 4.40 in the 40-yard dash. That's extremely impressive. In most drafts, this guy is the #1 running back coming out. The running game is such an important part of your offense and balancing things out and making sure that you can keep your defense honest by lightening up the boxes. And when J.K. Dobbins was out for those small amount of games during the back half of last year's season, the running game was abysmal and there was a lot of pressure on Justin Herbert in the offense, and we really didn't have the playmakers to really balance things out. So although we have Najee Harris, having a premier running back like Omarion Hampton gives us extra security and a player that can help us hit more than singles, help us hit doubles, things that we found a value with J.K. Dobbins. We were so grateful when he was able to get a 30-yard run, a 60-yard run. Omarion Hampton packs a punch, and we should be able to get all of those things and much more. This is a blue chip caliber running back and one that's going to lead the Chargers for a long time to come. So here you guys have it. I've got an A grade for Omarion Hampton. At pick 55, the Chargers select Tre Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. I'm giving this grade an A. This is one of my favorite wide receivers in the draft, and it's no secret that the Chargers needed another weapon on the outside as a boundary wide receiver. Tre Harris is going to complement Ladd. Defenses are going to have to respect his ability on the outside, and that's going to open things up on the inside for Ladd. That's going to help free up the double coverages, and he's going to make a great dance partner because of it. Tre Harris possesses a sick double move, an extensive route tree, and he is an excellent tracker of the football in the deep parts of the field. You turn on the tape of Tre Harris and all you see are wins. This guy knows how to do it at a high level. This last season in college, I think he only played 7 games before he got hurt, and he was still able to eclipse over 1,000 yards. At the end of the day, Tre Harris just wins, and I'm willing to bet that his game is going to translate at the next level. At the end of the day, the Chargers needed a boundary wide receiver for years to come, and I think we've got that here with Tre Harris. I think this was a tremendous pick. We knocked it out of the park. This guy's going to help this offense out a lot. There is a lot to be excited about with a player like Tre Harris. There is just so much more than a back shoulder fade that you can get with him. You're going to get yards after catch. You're going to get open field separation and a guy that's going to be able to take catches all the way to the house. Something this Charger offense has been missing for a long time. I said it in my rankings and I'm going to say it again. Tre Harris is a badass wide receiver. At pick 86, the Chargers select Jamari Caldwell, defensive tackle out of Oregon. We got our space-eating nose tackle in Caldwell here. With the departure of Poona Ford, this is an excellent pick that we were able to score in the 3rd round. Talk about a position of need that we needed to nail, and considering the value, I think we got ourselves a guy here. Don't let his size at 6'2 fool you. This guy can get off of blocks and make things happen. He possesses active hands, he's going to be a run stuffer, and he's going to get after the pass rush. We got our defensive tackle of the future in Jamari Caldwell, and I'm going to give him a B. At pick 25, the Chargers select Canard, edge out of South Carolina. Who talk about value? We got ourselves a first-team All-American and the SEC Defensive Player of the Year in 2024. This player was able to find production every single week in the SEC, a true student of the game. This kid is super clever on the edge. Some could argue he might be slightly undersized, but talk about a guy that wants to win with speed to power, outside, inside when it comes to edge moves. He brings a new look, something different each time he approaches the offensive line. Khalil Mack and Bud Dupree have one more year before they're gone, so adding Kyle Canard here in the 4th round brings some youth to the edge position and something this roster desperately needed. I'm ecstatic about a player about Kyle Canard here at pick 125. I'm giving this grade a B, and I have no doubt that he's going to kick some ass at the next level. At pick 158, the Chargers select Keandre Lambert Smith, wide receiver out of Auburn. Smith was able to get 981 receiving yards and 8 tutties, earning himself 2nd team All-SEC honors. This kid possesses 4.3 speed as a wide receiver. He's got good hands, a nice release package. He knows when to call his shot. He is confident and finds ways to win. In summary, I see a wide receiver with good hands, great route running, excellent speed, and someone who's going to challenge the wide receivers on this roster, whether it's a rotational player or he's going to end up being a starter. I see a tremendous football player in Keandre Lambert Smith. Let's go. I'm giving this draft grade a B. I think Smith is awesome, and I'm excited to see him play for the Chargers. At pick 165, the Chargers select Aronda Gatson II, tight end out of Syracuse. This is a second-generation professional NFL football player, an outstanding pass catcher at the tight end position. No doubt this guy is going to be outside catching passes and being a vertical threat, a route running threat as a tight end as opposed to being an inline blocker, but there's nothing wrong with that. We're talking about a replacement of Stone Smart. I want to go on the record and say when you look at Stone Smart and when you look at Donald Parham, you're getting a tight end who's better than both of those guys, but provides that type of playmaking ability. OG is 6'5" and 243 pounds. He's going to be a red zone threat. He's going to be a threat everywhere he goes. And when you look at the tape, he's got an example of pretty much doing everything as a pass catcher and being successful at it. And if there's one thing that I have learned with Justin Herbert is that he elevates the players around him. Gatson was recorded running 19 miles per hour on the field. That's pretty fast for a tight end. At Syracuse, he holds the record for receptions and yards at the tight end position. His father played 6 years in the NFL, so you know he's got that pedigree, and he was brought up right as far as playing the game the right way. Aronda finds himself in a good situation with a quarterback like Justin Herbert who can help get the most out of his game. So here we have it. We've got another dangerous pass catcher that's going to help improve our tight end room. I'm giving this draft grade a B. At pick 199, the Chargers select Branson Taylor, tackle out of Pitt. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I understand technique of the offensive line or the trenches, but with that said, I want to read a tweet here from Steven from The Guilty as Charged. Steven tweets out, sounds like Branson Taylor is your potential Jamari Salyer replacement long term. We'll have to check the tape, but I'm glad that they basically have someone new in the room on the offensive line. He followed that tweet up by saying, watching some of the tape this morning, and I will say that Taylor is firmly a developmental guard only option at this time in my opinion. So there you have it. It kind of looks like the Chargers, as usual, are trying to find value in players that can play more than one position, but it looks like the technique is a little suspect here with this player. And with that said, I just kind of want to add the comments that during the selection, Holland Pierce from Rutgers was on the board, and that was a guy that really caught my eye in the senior bowl practices. I saw some footage where they were trying to highlight reps from the defensive line players, and one player that stood out to me was Holland Pierce. This guy was holding solid and winning a lot of reps. He was on the board at this time when the Chargers selected Branson Taylor, but what do I know? Those guys know what they're looking at. Those guys are the professional scouts. So clearly they see something with Branson here, but I'm going to give this grade a C. At pick 214, we got RJ Mickens, safety out of Clemson. RJ is my 13th ranked safety in my rankings. Here we have a versatile safety who has played all 4 units on special teams and is quoted, I love to play special teams. So he could make an immediate impact at playing special teams on the Chargers, and with some development, who hopefully can find himself in a starting role. But nonetheless, he finds himself in a room full of great safeties to learn from, so it will be exciting to see this kid blossom and become a future NFL football player. At pick 256, the Chargers select Traquez Bridges, cornerback out of Florida. This is a cornerback who is going to be a press coverage type of guy. There's not a lot of those, and we needed one in this room, so I think he's going to bring some physicality. Overall, a developmental player at the cornerback position, so let's hope the Chargers can get the best out of him. He shows a lot of good things on tape. He does show some nice plays here and there, good play recognition, and he's got good burst to catch up with the position with the receivers. Overall, I'm pretty happy with what I saw on film. Considering we grabbed him here in the 7th round, I'm happy about this pick, so I'm going to give this grade a C. All right, I picked out 4 players from the UDFA signings here, and I want to start with running back out of South Carolina, Raheem Rocket Sanders. He was my running back 13 in my rankings. How he went undrafted, I have no idea, but this guy is fantastic. He brings speed and power to the running back position, and I would bet money that this guy ends up as running back 3 on our depth chart. Next, we've got wide receiver Luke the Grim Reaper out of Kansas. This Jayhawk was their leading receiver in receptions and receiving yards. Prototypical slot wide receiver who knows how to make the best when he's in space, possesses good speed in hands, quickness and agility. This kid's elusive. There's nothing wrong with having some depth behind Lad, but it is a crowded wide receiver room, so we'll see what this kid can do. Next here, I got Steve O'Clotes, tight end slash fullback out of Iowa State. This guy is a tremendous blocker. I turned on the film to watch Steve-O, and I was immediately enamored by his physicality and his aggression and just the overall willingness he has as a blocker. I went ahead and made a cool little highlight video of him because I was so impressed with his physicality physicality. We all know how the Chargers like to add a fullback into packages, and I think we might be looking at a guy who could fit that mold. He even brings a little bit of value at the contested catch, so if we want to pull him out there on some routes, this guy could probably catch the football. We know the mantra on the Chargers, competitors welcome, and I think Steve-O embodies that, so I could definitely see this guy fighting and getting a spot on the roster. Last here, I got Garmin Randolph at a Baylor edge player / outside linebacker. Physical freak. This guy is a Godzilla of a human being. He clocked in a 4.6 40. He is definitely a player who possesses a lot of physical gifts and has a lot of good traits. He's going to need development, so let's see what the Chargers can do with him. But just when you look at the sheer size and what he does on tape, just a monster at the edge position. This guy looks like the total package, but getting the technique and putting it all together is another thing. But I'm really excited with the prospect like Garmin Randolph. So these are 4 UDFA players that I'm really excited about. So keep your eyes out on these guys during camp, and we'll see if these guys can make it happen. All right, Charger fans, that concludes the video. Those are my draft grades. I think overall Joe Ortiz knocked it out of the park. When you look at the way that the board fell, the Chargers were able to grab awesome players that provide value. And I know that some of these guys are going to be able to get on the field on Sunday and make plays for the Chargers. So that's going to do it for me today. I'm Andrew with Bolt Casa, and until next time, remember to bolt up. Peace.